Which painkillers are the least addictive? The simple answer is non-opioids. So anything that is not an opioid is less addictive. Drugs within the opioid class, which are numerous, are all addictive just by nature of how these medications work. The ones at the lower end of the spectrum, like codeine, Percocet, and Vicodin, tend to be at the lower end, believe it or not. And these are less addictive than oxycontin, which is in the higher doses, like going upwards of 10 up to 80 milligrams in the pill, onto morphine, heroin, and fentanyl, which are at the upper extremes. So the lower ones, like codeine and Vicodin, are considered to be the weaker ones, whereas the strongest ones and most dangerous are fentanyl and heroin. There's a whole host of non-opioid analgesics, painkillers out there, and these are gaining more and more popularity. So the good old-fashioned ones would include ibuprofen, which is the generic name for Advil or Motrin. Naproxen is also in that same class, and these are very effective medications to be using, especially with chronic pain. In fact, studies have shown recently that they are more effective than opioids at treating chronic, long-term back, hip, and knee pain. So those are the first two. They also had Tylenol in this, and it also helped people too. So it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves, Tylenol. The next class of drugs treating the pain also deals with anxiety and people who are going through depression. These are the antidepressants, and when they're used in small, light doses, they can help with the processing of pain. So believe it or not, antidepressants in low doses can help a person's approach to the pain, their mental health and well-being, and they're less likely to be consumed by their pain if they're on these light doses. The next schedule of drugs would be gabapentin, which is otherwise known as Neurontin, and this is a special kind of drug that's used for people with neuropathic pain, so pain that's caused by the nerves themselves, typically a diabetic with neuropathy, so damaged nerve endings in the smallest nerves, like the ones in the skin or going to the joints. So these are the main pharmacologic but not opioid ways of treating pain. And in addition to that, there's a whole host of other modalities of treating pain. There's cognitive therapy, the way in which a person approaches looking at themselves and looking at their pain. There is also interventional pain therapy, which does involve pharmacologics, but this is lidocaine, which is a benign, non-addictive drug that's injected into a joint or into a nerve to prevent pain that way. And they can also include anti-inflammatory steroids. But again, this is not your typical way of treating pain, but they're very, very effective for people with sore joints and myofascial, so muscle fascia cause pain. And then finally, there is the other modalities of treating pain, and this includes chiropractics, physiotherapy, acupuncture, acupressure, stimulation therapy. These can certainly help. Person needs to get involved ideally in some sort of physical plan. Pain becomes worse when we are not active physically, so that's where all of those can certainly help with treating pain. So to summarize, there's a whole variety of addictive pain meds, but on a different scale of the opioids. So this goes all the way from codeine all the way up to heroin and fentanyl. And then the non-opioid, non-addictive ones altogether include things like ibuprofen and Tylenol. Those are not addictive at all. Finally, on to gabapentin, which can be abused by some people. They do claim that they do feel get a high from it, but those are less likely to cause addiction, and they're not as dangerous as opioids. And finally, balancing to things that are non-pharmacologic, which includes physiotherapy, acupuncture, chiropractics, and more. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave it in the comments box below. Thank you.
If you or a loved one are looking for help with substance abuse, call our 24/7 helpline at 1-800-615-1067. A caring addiction advisor is awaiting your call.